This video shows how to do linear regression in the TI-84 calculator. I'm going to follow this example. The sum of the personal consumption expenditures in a country in billions of dollars for selected years from 1985 through 2005 is shown in the table. A, make a scatter plot of the data with X equal to the number of years past 1985 and Y equal to the billions of dollars spent. Does it appear that a line will be a reasonable fit for this data? So first of all, a couple things to notice. First is that the number of years past 1985 is the X value. So what I have to do for X's is I have to adjust all of these years. 1985 would be X equals 0, 1990 would be X equals 5, 1995 would be X equals 10, etc. The other thing is that Y equals to the billions of dollars spent, but if I look at my Y column here, the personal consumption, it's already in billions of dollars, so I don't have to adjust anything there. To do linear regression, or a scatter plot in your TI-84, you first go to the Stat key, and then you select Edit. I need to clear my lists out. Actually, I have this data in my list from when I did this before, but go ahead and clear your list. You highlight it, you hit Clear, and then Enter. And you can do the same thing in this list. If you just want to delete a single item in your list, you can use this delete key, DEL, in your top row. But if you want to clear your whole list, highlight the list title and hit Clear, Enter. So now I'm going to enter my adjusted X values. Remember, 1985 is an X value of 0, since X is the number of years past 1985. If you're not told to adjust, you would just enter exactly what you see in your list. So I'm going to enter for 1990 a 5, because that's 5 years since 1985, and then 10, and then 15. And then we have to be careful because it doesn't jump to 2005, it jumps to 2003, which is actually 18 years since 1985. So I'll enter 18. 2004 is 19 years since 1985, and 2005, we're finally at 20 years from 1985. Now in the L2, I'm going to enter the personal consumption in billions of dollars, or whatever your list, your right column of your table goes in list 2. So I'm going to pause the video and enter these in, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I got all of these Y values entered into L2 in my calculator. So in part A of the problem, it says make a scatter plot of the data with X equal to the number of years past 1985, Y equal to the billions of dollars spent. To do a scatter plot, what I'm going to do is I'll go to my Y equals key. I'll clear out any functions that I have entered there, any graphs that I did. Use my up arrow to highlight plot 1 and hit Enter. That turns on the scatter plot feature. Next, I need to adjust my window. The easiest way to do this in the calculator is once you have the data in your list 1 and list 2, and you have your plot 1 turned on, go to the Zoom key, and notice number 9 says Zoom Stat, and you entered L1 and L2 under the Stat key. So if I hit number 9 for Zoom Stat, it will automatically adjust the window for me. And then you can go into your window key and see what it adjusted to. You can see what it looks like. Another way to adjust the window is to look at your smallest X value and your largest X value. My smallest X value was X equals 0 for 1985, and my largest X value was X equals 20 for 2005. And so my X minimum has to be smaller than 0, and my X max has to be larger than 20. So that's why they're using -2 to 22. If you look at the Y column, the smallest Y value is the 2,725.8. The largest Y value in that list is 8,758.3. And so I want my minimum Y value to be smaller than that 2,725.8. The calculator just randomly picked 17,000.275, but it could be any number that's smaller than 2,725.8. The largest Y value, or Y max, needs to be larger than the 8,758.3. The calculator selected 9,783.825. So as long as it's larger than that maximum Y value in your table. So I go to graph. Looking at that, I think it looks pretty linear. So I would answer to part A. I would go ahead and say, it does appear that a line will be a reasonable fit for this data. Part B says find the linear model, which is the best fit for the data, where X is equal to the number of years past 1985. So we already adjusted all the years to be the X values 0 through 20. To do a line of best fit on the calculator, I'm going to go to the home screen. To get to the home screen, you can always use the second key and then mode. Second mode, that quits you out to the home screen. To do linear regression, go into Stat, use your right arrow to highlight Calc, and select number 4, LinReg, AX plus B. That stands for linear regression. So now I have list 1 and list 2. Leave the frequency list blank. If you want to store your equation, you can store it for Y1, but I would just go ahead and leave that blank and hit calculate. So we get these values. Y equals AX plus B, A equals 299.85, B equals 2,415.45. Whatever problem you're working on in the homework will tell you how many decimal places to round to. So let's say I wanted to round to 2 decimal places. I would go ahead and for my answer, I'm going to do Y equals. So I'll have Y equals. The A gets listed first. A is the number that's your slope. It's attached to the X. So I'm going to have Y equals 299.85 if I'm rounding to 2 decimal places, 0.85x, because the slope is always attached to the X, plus the B value is my y-intercept. So I'm going to enter 2,415. And I apologize for writing so slowly. I'm actually using my mouse to write right now. So 2,415.45. Okay, so that's my linear model. If I want to see what that looks like with the scatter plot, go to your y equals and go ahead and enter that. So 299.85 x plus 2,415.45 and hit graph. You've already adjusted the window by doing the zoom stat. So now you can see your scatter plot and your line of best fit on the same grid. The last part of the problem says, using this model, predict the personal consumption for the year 2015. Now remember, X is the number of years past 1985. So 2015 would be, let's see, 85, 1995, 2005, 2015. So that would be 30 years. And so if X is 30, what I'll do is I'll plug that in to the equation. So I go back to my home screen. I'm going to put in the equation I found, 299.85. In place of the X, I'm going to put 30. Plus 2,415.45. So 11,410.95. And my units is billions of dollars, because notice in the original table, the personal consumption is in billions of dollars. So that would be how I make a prediction using my line of best fit.